Hello, happy video. It's hard to get back after a 5-day stretch break, but we're back. First thing we're going to put in is the idler arm, then the steering box. Okay, we get the ratchet now, tighten that up. Okay, that's good. It's 3 tight. Idler arm's in. Now the steering box. Okay, now the steering box. We have a new bushing in there for the steering dampener. Let's get her in. Steering box is a little bit on the heavy side. After trying to put it in, it was a little bit of a struggle because it's heavy. But I realized, I believe I need this on in order to make this fitting locked in. So the universal at each end of this little drive shaft that turns the steering box needs to be coupled on the bottom first, I believe. Not 100% sure, but that's what I'm finding out. Okay, I'm going to try to get it up in there and get it connected. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. Not as strong as I used to be, but we're going to get it up there. Okay, I got all 3 bolts started. I have a little trouble with my left wrist because I have a rod in there and I don't have any wrist motion in my left hand. So it makes doing these things a little harder than normal. But we figure out how to do it and we get there. Can't give up. All right, I'm going to tighten the bolts up. Okay, the steering box is in. Okay, that's the steering dampener bolt. They're 2 body mount bolts. This is through the Super Beetle trunk. Put your wrench in there. And you tighten it. A little bit hard to do all this holding it. And I'll show you the other end after I get this tight. Okay, she's good and tight. I'll show you the other end and we'll tighten it. Okay, this is the steering dampener. The far left is the side we already tightened through the spare. Now we have to tighten this end. It goes through the steering arm. All right, I'm going to tighten that up. Let's see if I can do it on camera. I might already have it tight. Yeah, she's tight. That's where you tighten that steering dampener. Here's a bit of an overview. Okay, that's what I did with the dampener, the steering dampener. And this is the Bentley shop book for Volkswagen's Super Beetles. And here's what I'm about to do. It's going to be hard to show you underneath, but I'll show you now. I have the steering box hooked up. It's on the one end, and on the other end is the idler arm. And I'm putting the drag link that the 2 tie rod ends hook to and move the spindles back and forth to make your turning radius. Okay, that's what I'm about to do now. Here's the assembly together. I'm going to shove it through from this side into the other side. Kind of hold this like this and run it through. The cap comes off here. This goes in the idler arm. Well, we're going to set the other side up first. Make sure we got this right. I'm going to look at the book again. Okay, the longest part is I call the drag link. It drags everything back and forth from where it should go. And it hooks from the idler arm into the steering. And we have to just figure out how. Let's see what we got in here. Looks good. Gotta mess with the other side. Okay, I was struggling underneath there, which I didn't think was necessary to show you because, you know, I don't want to teach you the wrong way to do something. So now that I have it figured out, I'll explain to you what my problem was. This drag link that goes behind the steering box here, goes right across here, that has a right and a left. I had it in backwards where I had to switch it to this side rather than that side, because I couldn't get these tie rod ends into position where they belonged. And the reason was because I had that bar in there backwards. So don't struggle like I did. If it seems like you can't put these tie rod ends into this drag link, then flip that drag link around and then you'll have no problem. I'll show you underneath what it is. Now that I did it, I feel a little silly that I should have just picked up on it to begin with. But you know, sometimes you get off track and you don't realize that there's a right and a left. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I'll show you underneath. It's gonna be a little hard to explain under here too, but I'll do the best I can. This is the drag link. It goes from here to the idler arm, from the steering box to the idler arm. It has one end specifically made to go to the steering box. If you flip it around backwards, then these fittings up here on this tie rod will not fit. So I'll try to bring that into focus a little better. See, that tie rod has to go that way on the drag link, and the one on the opposite side also. And they should be in front of this trailing arm. So I hope that explains to you what I did. I'm going to show you the other side too. If you flip that drag link around, it ain't going to work. All right, I'll show you the other side. This is the driver's side. Of course, the steering box. Okay, this is the passenger side. There's the drag link connected to the idler arm. And in the center, the tie rod end is connected. You can see the orientation of the ball joints that are inside the ends, the heads. All right, I hope that helped out. I should have looked at a video before I started. All right, get back to it. Okay, let's build a strut tower. Now I have to mention, this is a TopeLine Pro Rally Lowering Kit. Comes with everything needed for the front end. Things for bum steer, new stops. It comes with everything you need. And it tells you on here how to adjust. I'm going to go to 4 inches, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I'm going to put the bottom end of the strut tower together and show you how that goes. Now this is similar to a factory one, but it's different at the same time. So again, this isn't a factory one, it's a Pro Rally from TopeLine. John is the owner of the business and he's a great man. Okay, ball joint. Driver side spindle. Okay. I see now we have to trim these down a little bit. I have heard that in the past. So I'm going to trim them down now. I'll show you what I mean. They need to be trimmed a little bit. See, it's not quite centered with the hole. All 3 of them would be like that. We're going to trim them down next. I have all 3 of them stacked together on a bolt. This is where I have to trim. I have to trim a little bit off here. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll see if they're where they have to be. Didn't need much, so that should do it. We'll give it a try. We need a little bit more. That should be plenty. Yeah, let's try that again. I like the old sayings, like if at first you don't succeed, try again. I think that did it. Okay, let's tighten these. We're gonna have to use a wrench. It's gonna be a little slower, but it'll do the trick. Okay, now we gotta bend these tabs up. They'll actually lock the bolt from turning. Here's up close look. See, the tabs are bent to the flats of the bolt. All right, next step. These adjustable strut kits don't come with this. This is for the speedometer cable. So I'm going to clean up this spot and I'm going to weld that on there. They don't come with them on, and I like them on. They give you an attachment, but I rather a solid mount. Okay, we'll turn the welder on. Okay, like I mentioned, they don't come with the tabs on, so I'm adding them. This is for the speedometer cable. Clean it up a bit. Okay, that's for the speedometer cable. That'll be perfect. Now we got to add the one for the brake. We'll weld that on the other side. You can't just put these in any random location. So I'm putting them, this is where the flexible brake line will go into it, and then the solid one will come out and go to the caliper, because I'm putting disc brakes on this. So I'm going to weld that in place there, and we'll be in good shape. Okay, we have that welded on. Let it cool down. We'll go to the next step. Clean it up a little. All right, now we're going to drop this ring down to the third one. By dropping it to the third one from the bottom, it's going to give us a 4-inch drop. That's what we're shooting for. We're low on the front end, 4 inches. This locking ring is a little tough to move, but you just keep at it. We want the third one up. One more here. We'll snap it in place. Okay, we're good to go there. We're going to give it a little tap, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, we'll paint these up a little so they don't rust. Okay, I dropped the ring down to the third, bottom one. That'll give me 4-inch drop. Now here's the spring perch. That goes on like that. And these are tough to find at times. It took me 2 months on back order. But they're a rubber, I don't know what you call it. I can't think of it right now. I'll put it in the video. But it's a rubber for the coil spring that holds it and keeps it from making noise, rattling and all kinds of stuff like that. So that goes in there. The spring sets on that rubber. Next, the TopeLine kit comes with this alignment bushing. Goes in the bottom here, and it holds it centered down inside the shaft so it doesn't move or wobble. And it also has one that goes up the top. So it holds it nice and steady inside there so you don't get movement. Nice design. Okay, you drop this in, which I'm doing right now. You gotta make sure it's right. I dropped it down in at first. It's hard to get it the way you need it. You need it on the bottom like this. So I'm gonna put a little piece of tape on it. It won't take up no room to hurt anything. And I'll put it in like that. Okay, I put tape on it. It's not going to hurt it. And that way it makes sure it centers. Perfect. Okay, now this top piece centers the top. Now, they give you this lockdown section out of billet aluminum. You don't want to over tighten this because it's aluminum, but you want to make sure it's good and snug. Okay, we're good there. Next, we need the bump stop. In the kit comes a shortened bump stop. You definitely don't need the one from your original. If you're just doing, you have the original, you cut it in half to use it again. I have a little washer goes in here. The bump stop goes on there. Now we got to get a spring. Not going to need much, that's for sure. we go. We bottomed out. We're tight now. Woo! Well, that was a learning lesson, but we're in good shape. I have a cap somewhere for that. Okay, let's see if we could get that in place. They might call it quits for tonight. Okay, what I did, I put a 2x4 under the frame head and on top of the sway bar. Now I'm sitting on it, and I got it to where I want it. I just have to position it. It's in the strut tower. Just has to be pushed up. 2x4 worked excellent. Okay, I put a 2x4 on the sway bar where it goes to the connecting link and sat on it, which brought it down low enough that I could put the bottom in the ball joint and then put the top up in where it belongs. Very hard to film. You know, now I know how to do it. It'll be much easier the next time. I did struggle, but I'm showing you what I did, so hopefully you won't struggle. But, you know, I can't put everything on film or these will be 3-4 hour videos and then nobody will watch them. But I did struggle. The 2x4 on the cross member, on the sway bar, and the connecting arm worked perfect to bring it down enough that I was able to put it up in the spring perch. And now I could put the bolts in up top and then tighten the one on the bottom. See, there's the top all lined up. All right, we're gonna put a connector on there, which will connect both towers. This is another type of truss bar. It's gonna go from spring tower to spring tower to keep the front end from flexing. Don't know if it's needed, but it sounds like a good idea. I gotta tighten them bolts down. They're 13s. And they're nylock nuts. Okay, now we attach the bar. Okay, that's one side. This side needs to be done yet. Tomorrow's another day. Did quite a bit today. Enjoy your project. Okay, like I said, enjoy your project. Today was a rough day for me getting back into it after 5 days off. But we accomplished something. It was like a practice day. Learned what to do so we could finish it up tomorrow. All right, have a good one. See you tomorrow night.